Radio.
Hello and welcome to Cryptocurrent, the only podcast to bring you beginner and advanced knowledge of cryptocurrency and blockchain, analyses of cryptocurrency markets, and discussions on growing a business within the crypto space. Stay tuned and stay cryptocurrent.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrent. Your host here, Richard Carthon, and today it's just going to be me. Today, I just wanted to chat with you all and not only just give you an update about what's been going on with Cryptocurrent, but to also talk more about some of the lessons I've been able to learn over the last year. So, back when I started this podcast, one of the key points of starting this was to be able to embark some knowledge and wisdom with you along my journey of different things I've been learning in the space, not only when relationships to cryptocurrency and blockchain, but to business itself. And today I really want to focus on some of the growth hacks that I've been able to learn while starting up this podcast and really starting to engage within the cryptocurrency and blockchain community. So I'm only going to talk about a few points, but point number one that I really want to drive home when it comes to starting up your own podcast, especially, yes, it's revolving both crypto and blockchain, but starting your own podcast in general, if you really want to see some things happen, you just got to be consistent with it, right? So it's a grind to be able to sit down and either schedule meetings and bring on special guests, and first to find them, and then two, to engage with them, start a conversation with them, and then get them to agree to come on your show or to record them. Then you have to coordinate schedules to make sure that your date works. And, that all can be very meticulous and takes some time. But if you can streamline that process, there's some different things that you can use. One of the great tools that I've been able to use is Calendly. So you set up some different dates that work for you. You can send it to your potential guest and they can just pick a date and a time, and then y'all schedule it and y'all just go from there. So that's definitely been a really good way for the coordination of when I've been able to get people on the podcast. And as far as procuring or finding people themselves, one of the best ways, honestly, has just been through, as I keep getting different guests, I ask them if they know of anyone who would be a good resource to speak to. And usually the answer is yes, because once you deal with people that are in your space, in this podcast particular, it's crypto and blockchain, I've been able to meet a lot of fascinating people who are working on all kinds of things in the space. And you're always like one person removed from meeting or knowing another amazing or incredible person, or a person that you're truly trying to get on your show. So I would highly recommend, as you start to get people on your show, you just have one more ask, and that is, hey, do you know anybody who do you think would be a great contributor to this podcast? And usually they will give you some sort of name or some warm intro to that person so y'all can set up next steps. And next with the growth hacking is, as you start to put out some of your content, I highly recommend a way for people to be able to find your content. So this can be done one of several ways, as you know. You need to be able to have either some sort of social media, or you need to have a website, right? So the cheapest way is to just go ahead and set up some sort of social media account. So I started on both Twitter and Instagram, and I've been able to build up both of those accounts. And as new content's being produced, I just put it on that social media. And also, I've been doing a bad job of this lately, but I'm gonna start revamping this up. Is start to engage with the people that engage with your content, right? So you're trying to build relationships with people. You're trying to build a tribe of people who really like and enjoy what you're putting out there, and making sure that it's valuable to others. So just make sure, as people are engaging with your content or engaging with what you're putting out there, that you engage back. And it can be time consuming. It could be a lot at times, but definitely worth the time and effort. And next, so if you are able to either pay to make your own website or have the ability to create your own, which fortunately in my case, I was able to just create my own website. All of your content can kind of live there. And what you're trying to do is then funnel your potential listeners to come into your website. And then like once they arrive there, it needs to be presented in a way that they can easily get to what you're trying to give them. And like, I think that in the long run of making this podcast, it's probably been one of the biggest keys to some recent success that I'm able to start having. And it's because when people, are starting to come to the website and they're saying like, oh, wow, Cryptocurrent has over 50 episodes and have all kinds of different people on there. And, oh, there's also a blog and, there's a conference and some different events on there. So like what you're trying to do with your podcast or with anything that you do is establish credibility, establish like, hey, they know what they're talking about. They've been in the game for a minute and doesn't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon. And so like it just makes people, one, take you more seriously, but then two, it makes them want to do work with you, which is really cool. And so with like, social media might be a little bit tougher for people to kind of quickly go through all of your old content to like see how deep it goes. But with a website, I've just found that it's a lot cleaner and a lot easier for someone to just go back and see like, okay, here's all the kind of topics and conversations and people that have been on the show. And I've been able to see too an uptick in the amount of people that are starting to come to the website. So initially, when I started this out, I was doing a lot of outreach, right? I was doing a lot of, hey, let me go and find these people and try to talk to them and then bring them on the show. Whereas now, I'm starting to see the opposite, where some people are starting to find Cryptocurrent and are trying to come on the show and or trying to like do some partnerships with us or XYZ. And so it is a long grind, and there's a time where you put out a lot of effort, energy, and you don't necessarily see the return on it. But if you just stay consistent with it and just keep putting out quality content, it all comes back full circle. So I definitely want to like drive that point home as well. And then one of the third and biggest growth hacks that I've been able to find is the people that you bring on your show, or even the people that start sharing your show with others. There's got to be like both a give and take, right? So obviously the people that you bring on, you're exposing them to your audience. You're exposing them to new people that don't necessarily know who they are yet. And so that's new ways for new audience, new leads to be able to come and either participate in whatever project or business they have going on, or to want to learn more about them as individuals or whatever they have going on. And also in return, when you bring on these guests, like they will most likely do the same, right? They're going to share it with their audience, and then they're going to learn more about your podcast and like what's been going on. So it's like this compound effect of new people both ways, like new people being brought to your guest, and then also for your guests, they're bringing you new people as well. And so it truly like begins to compound on itself, and you start to grow even further. But you have to make sure that you're growing your audience, not just on your listenership, but also on your social media approach, and like how is your content getting out to the masses? Because you could have the greatest podcast ever, you could have the greatest content ever, but if no one's ever heard it, or if no one is sharing or talking about it, then it doesn't really matter, right? So how do you make passionate listeners, or like how do you find people who will care about what you have to say and like feel compelled enough to want to share with somebody else? Like that is the true trick. And as you begin to like take more time and like refine what it is that you're doing and the content that you're putting out there for them, I feel like that's when it becomes super, super, super impactful. And more than anything, so this is aside from like a growth hack, but it's more just a nice cherry on the top, if you will, of why it's awesome to do your own podcast is you're constantly learning. So when you bring on people who are working on projects that you either don't know a whole lot about or you just know a little bit about, you get to go deeper, right? And then you get to learn from them, and you get to ask questions that you otherwise wouldn't get to ask to a thought leader in that particular space. But then next, you also are establishing and building relationships with those people. And now if you ever like there's been multiple times when someone's come up to me and asked me a very specific question regarding a cryptocurrency or a blockchain project or XYZ. And I was able to immediately link them with someone else in the space that was able to directly answer their question. And like, that's powerful, right? And on the flip side, if I've had a question, I've been able to reach out to some of my old speakers, and they're able to answer for me as well, which is really cool. So you're constantly like building your community. You're constantly like building just amazing people in the space, but you're also becoming knowledgeable in yourself because you've learned it. You've spoken to somebody about that particular subject, and it's just really empowering and really just satisfying to know that like a year ago from where I was to now, like I just know so much more, and I'm able to like break down things that are extremely complex and make it very simple for people who have either never heard of it before or just trying to learn more. So as I kind of wrap up this episode, and like this was going to be a little bit shorter and sweet, but as you are looking to build a business in either cryptocurrency or blockchain, especially on the media side, if you're making your own podcast, one, make sure that you have a place to put out that content once you are done, and that you are constantly doing everything you can to build that audience. And like spend time, I would say spend more time on building your audience and making sure that they care than spending time on creating good content, right? Yes, you still need to make great content, but like if no one's listening, if no one's paying attention, what's it all for? And then the next thing I would say is like, as you are bringing on guests, or even if you're doing your own solo thing, make sure that you're establishing good relationships with people in the particular space that you're in, because they can come back full circle and you can help them and they also can help you. And then last but not least, make sure with the content that you are creating that it is helping others, and that when whatever content that you're putting out, make sure you're getting feedback from some of your listeners and understand like, hey, what are you trying to hear? Like, what else do you want to learn? Or you really enjoyed this type of speaker, you want to hear more of them like that. But make sure you're spending some time just reaching out and getting that feedback, because it really can drive future podcasts that you have in the future. So again, everyone, thank you for spending some time with me today. And we're going to continue to bring on some great guests on here, and I'm going to keep doing a couple of solo ones every once in a while. I'll give you some market updates and tell you about what's going on in the crypto space and talk a little business with you as well. So thanks again, and stay cryptocurrent.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to another episode of Cryptocurrent. For more information on this episode and all of our episodes, please visit us at www.crypto-current.co. Stay up to date with the latest news in cryptocurrency. You'll receive daily emails Monday through Friday that are personalized and curated content specific to you and your interest, powered by artificial intelligence. Are you an accredited investor looking to invest in cryptocurrency? Crescent City Capital can help. Go to crescentcitycapital.com for more information. If you're finding value in our content, please take 5 minutes to leave a 5-star review and a great comment. Also, please make sure to share this podcast with others. Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the quality of this podcast. I can only thank my amazing producer, Andrew DeRitter, with DeRitter Productions, who has put this together. If you have any podcast, visual, or video needs, please go to DeRitterProductions.com. That's DERITTER Productions.com.
This has been another episode of Cryptocurrent, bringing you one step closer to becoming a crypto and blockchain aficionado. We look forward to giving you the latest in crypto news and analyses next week. Stay cryptocurrent.
Please use available exits now.